Okay, so Nikon Z6 III is finally here. Nikon just released an announcement of the camera that will be announced on Monday, June 17th, 2024 at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is pretty much going to be a successor to Nikon Z6 II. Nikon released this official video, about 31 seconds. We're going to talk about it. I guess this is their first teaser. We might expect another teaser, or maybe two, sometime this week, which we will find out more about the specifications of the camera. Now, I think what's important to highlight is that this is not a development announcement. This is Z6 III being designed already. It's been tested. This camera is possibly already in hands of those who are testing the camera actually out in the field. I expect that this is going to be more of a pre-production camera right now announcement that we're going to see. So now let's talk a little bit about what we see in this little teaser video. And there are three different inscriptions basically on this video, and let's start with the very first one. It says that I could capture even before I press the shutter. It's a game changer. So I think at least what we know right now that this is going to be will have a function of a pre-release capture, the same one that we have in Z8 and Z9. Probably better processor from what we can tell, and what I expect, this camera is probably going to be very well used for sports, because it's kind of, you know, maybe if we are looking for some Easter eggs, it says a game changer. So maybe used for games, for sports, or functions for that level. Now the second inscription that we see is, it says that in bright situations, and I'm highlighting myself personally, in bright situations, if I can see better, I can create better. So what I expect, this is probably might have a low ISO range, possibly going down to 64, what we see in the Z9, and better dynamic range. So let's talk a little bit about this one when it comes to the raw video capabilities. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later here in the video. And the third inscription that it says is, all the beautiful colors in camera this small is something really exciting. So what I think I do expect, this is probably going to be somewhat slightly larger than the Z6 II. While Z6 II, it feels very good in hand. It feels very similar to maybe actually some of the Sony cameras, but I think it's not going to be as big as Z8. So a lot of things will be packed into this new camera of Z6 III, and we will see very similar design of the Z6 III as Z6 and Z6 II, obviously with much more better specs under the hood that we have today in these cameras. So now let's talk a little bit about what to expect from Z6 III. It is absolutely certainly going to be a dual card slot camera. You're probably going to have the CF Express and as well as the SD card slot, just like what you have with Z6 II, and you got a CF Express and the SD card slot. I think this is going to be a much more video-centric camera at this time, with a flip-out screen, not just a flip-up that you see on the Z6 II, but something similar that you would find with ZF actually. So, and I really expect that going forward, most of the camera releases probably will have the fully articulated screen or flip-out screen that you can kind of flip yourself. It's not only helpful for vlogging anymore, but it's also helpful for video recording and the low light angles. And this is the design that Sony's going with. That's the design that Canon's going with. So I really expect that this is going to be a flip out screen rather than just to be a flip up screen. I also expect this is going to be probably an unlimited video recording, 2 hours plus, 2 hours 5 minutes, something that we have again with Z9, Z8, and in the even ZF. ZF is actually recording me right now, has a 2 hours plus of recording limit. So I think this is what we're also going to see in the Z6 III. At a minimum, this is going to be in an X-Speed 7 processor. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be a newer processor than X-Speed 7, but time will tell. Now, this is probably going to be again closer to the 24.5 megapixel, maybe 33 megapixel sensor. We will see. There have been a lot of rumors about that. But this is probably going to be a BSI back stack illuminated sensor. This is not going to be a stack sensor. They're going to leave that for more pro cameras like a Z8 and a Z9 and their successors. I do expect that this is going to be a 6K sensor, which is basically 6048 by 4032 pixels, and it's going to be full frame 12-bit and raw recording. This is also may have the full HD, which is 1080 and at 240 frames per second, but what I expect, this is going to be an 8-bit codec, so we're not going to see 10, certainly not 12. We're also looking at the 20 frames per second in electronic shutter and somewhere between 12 to 14 frames per second in mechanical shutter. Now, the Z6 III will have the mechanical shutter, which I fully expect. And we also will have the pixel shift technology built into Z6 III, just the same way we have with the ZF as well as Z8. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be likely a hybrid body design, somewhere between the Z6 II and Z8. It might be just slightly heavier. I do hope, really hope that we're going to have a full-size HDMI port on the side here for the output recording, as well as the USB-C for power delivery. What I expect from the camera to be anywhere from 700 to 750 grams when it comes to weight, which will be slightly heavier than Z6 II. We will likely see the same battery that we have with the Z6, Z8, ZF, which is EN-EL15C. I think to myself, C is more like for charging, so you will certainly be able to charge your battery in camera. I also think that we might see a battery pack attachment, which probably will range anywhere from $300 to $400 for someone who will be looking for more of a pro kind of a handling, where you want to have a vertical grip as well as the extended battery life for more video recording. I think the camera is probably going to sell for, or start selling at, about $2,500 US dollars, and selling, I think it will start sometime in July. Again, this is not just a development announcement, this is a full announcement of a camera that will be announced, will fully with full specs on basically a week from now, and at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on June 17th. And I think we might expect to see another teaser, maybe one, maybe two more teasers this week, which will be great. Then this way we can do, we get to find out more specifically what this camera is about. It's no longer a rumor. You don't have to go to rumors websites and just to find out what might be with the camera. But I think from what we can tell right now, even by this one announcement, that the camera will be fully announced with all the specs on next Monday. So yes, I hope this video is informative and educational, and I'm looking forward to see more announcements of the Z6 III, and I'll certainly will be watching and paying close attention next week, next Monday, when the camera will be announced to us. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.